Today, I am going to be taking a look at why Lopetegui and Steidten could be a match made in West Ham heaven. You're not going to want to miss this one. Yes, West Ham Network, it's Holly, and it is time to discuss a partnership that I continue to get increasingly excited about at the moment, and that is the one between Lopetegui and Steidten. So initially, it was reported that Steidten wanted Amorim. However, it was then revealed that Steidten had been far more involved in the appointment of Lopetegui than initially thought. So Ornstein spoke to The Athletic, saying that Steidten had been a part of the recruitment process and was indeed impressed by Lopetegui. So why does this excite me? First of all, if Tim has played a part in recruiting Lopetegui and giving him the green light, then it suggests that they should be able to work together in collaboration. And this is something that we have not had at West Ham for a while. And the reason was the lack of boundaries and explanations of what people's clear roles were from the start. We had Moyes and Steidten, who both were brought in probably with different beliefs of what they ended up actually doing. So Moyes joined thinking he got to call the shots. Then Steidten was introduced, which obviously threw that out the window for Moyes. And Steidten believed that he'd be in charge of the recruitment strategy. Ultimately, the two had to meet in the middle somewhere and find some sort of compromise. And when you're building an exciting project, you need a clear direction. You need to know where you're heading, not be giving and taking from two different angles, because ultimately you just end up with this mishmash of players and ideas that work for neither party. And I think that is what has really bitten us in the arse in recent years at West Ham. And on top of this, the title head coach is something that's been reported a lot with Lopetegui, which is really interesting, suggesting that we are going to see a change in the way that the backroom staff are organised, which I'm very, very happy about. In my opinion, everyone having clear roles and not fighting for control can only be a good thing, because it means everyone's focused on the job at hand and they know exactly what they need to be doing. The head coach can focus on his football, Steidten and Noble can work on heading us in the right direction, and it feels a lot less messy to me. Simply put, I basically think that having Lopetegui and Steidten excited about the prospect of working together sets the foundations for a really great project and a lot of collaboration rather than butting heads. And what else has there been? Oh, I'm sure a lot of you will have seen it, but there was a video where Lopetegui looks to be a really good man manager. He was doing the rounds and he was speaking to Adama Traore, keeping him really motivated when he was struggling at Wolves. And this is something that I think will help our players massively, as well as it making look like he's a really personable manager to have around, which is something that I think will help him bond with the team. And I also think maybe when times are difficult, will help him not lose the dressing room, and should make a good first impression. And then finally, Tim Steidten has shown that he's incredibly talented when it does come to recruitment. So far, we've got no reason to doubt him whatsoever. So while I would have loved Amorim, if he has identified Lopetegui as someone that's a good fit, then that is more than good enough for me, because I think the ability to work as a team is far more important than having somebody with a track record who's likely to end up battling for control with Tim, because ultimately you just get nothing really done. So we could be looking at a far more streamlined approach to how West Ham do business. And in the same way, a far more professional approach where we probably won't annoy agents and players as much, because we'll go for players that we want and we will go all in and we will hopefully get them quickly. Because this is definitely something we've struggled with over the years. We've had new managers that have been handed teams that don't really suit the way they play. We've had 3 or more people disagreeing over the best transfers and who we should bring in for so long that they've basically been snapped up by our competitors before we've had a chance to actually get them ourselves. And just the clear lack of roles and responsibilities has caused a lot of complications over the years. And I think it's caused a lot of fan frustration as well. So we've now got Tim in charge of long-term strategy, meaning whoever comes and goes, whether that's players, managers, we should have contingency plans in place and still know where we're heading, rather than just going back to the drawing board every time we lose a manager. But obviously the pressure is now on Tim Steidten, which is going to be very interesting to see what happens, because if he's given the budget to do what he believes, then now it's time to really test what he's made of and what he can do, which is very exciting, because I believe that he can do some great things, and that's what I'm really hopeful of. And I think it's going to be a great thing if we've got a manager that is focusing, well, I say manager, not manager, head coach, who's focusing on coaching the team, and then Steidten can go and get what he needs. I'm going to do another video as well where I chat through all of this, but Basically, in my eyes, whoever Tim thinks is a good fit for a manager, I'm all for it. Bring him in. Let's start the rebuild. Drop us a comment below, though, with your thoughts. Are you feeling more positive about Lopetegui and Steidten working together now than you were when you initially heard Lopetegui's name mentioned? Let us know, because I know that I certainly am. That's all from me for now, but please give this video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to the West Ham Network. And until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Come on, you Irons.